There was something about the mirror in apartment 3B that never reflected right. When Clara moved into the aged building on Wicker Street, she expected creaky floors, old paint, and a few mice at worst. She didn't expect a mirror that didn't quite work. She first noticed it on her third morning. The London rain tapped gently on the windows as she brushed her teeth. She glanced into the mirror and paused. Something was off. The reflection didn't quite sync with her movements. It wasn't delayed exactly, just different. As if her reflection had thoughts of its own. She dismissed it as lack of sleep. After all, she had just moved countries. Clara Thompson, 28, a bright-eyed psychologist from New York, had come to London to escape a life that had grown too heavy. The death of her brother, a failed engagement, and years of emotional burnout had driven her to seek new beginnings. London felt right, anonymous, different. But the mirror? That felt wrong. Clara's apartment was cozy, almost charming in a vintage sort of way. Brick walls, wooden floors, and the scent of old books gave it character. The large mirror hung on the wall between the kitchen and the living room. It was framed in dark wood, hand-carved, possibly antique. She hadn't put it there. It came with the apartment. The landlord, Mr. Beaumont, had made a passing comment during the tour. Old family piece. It's been there longer than I have. Never quite got around to taking it down. Clara didn't give it much thought, until things started changing. Day 5. She was heading out for groceries when she passed the mirror again. This time, her reflection lingered.
She stopped.
In the mirror, her figure was paused mid-stride, 1 foot forward, lips parted slightly. She stared. Her heart thudded. And then, her reflection caught up in a blink. "Stop being paranoid," she whispered. She walked out, the image of her paused self still lingering in her mind.
Day 9.
The dreams began. They were subtle at first. A corridor lined with mirrors. Reflections that whispered in voices she couldn't understand. A hand reaching out from glass. She awoke each time with her skin cold and damp, the taste of metal on her tongue. Day 12. Clara invited a friend over. Marian Singh was a British Indian historian she'd met at a bookstore. The two had bonded over poetry and psychology. Clara told her, hesitantly, about the mirror. Marian examined it. "Looks Victorian," she said. "Could be worth a fortune. But there's something strange. It doesn't match your movement exactly." "You see it too?" Marian nodded. "That's deeply unsettling." They tried to test it.
Jumping.
Waving. Marian even clapped loudly behind Clara. The mirror reflected everything. Perfectly. No delay. No tricks. But both women left the room with a chill. Day 14. Clara began seeing things. Not in the mirror. In real life. A man in a coat standing across the street, always facing her window. A little girl in a blue dress who appeared on the stairwell, but vanished before Clara could reach her. And at night, the whispers in her dreams grew louder. She began to record audio while she slept. On the third night, she captured something. A whisper.
Clear.
Measured.
Male.
Don't trust the mirror. Day 17. Clara confronted the landlord. Mr. Beaumont's jovial demeanor faded when she mentioned the mirror. "You've been seeing things, haven't you?" he asked quietly. Clara stared. "You knew." He sighed and sat down. "The mirror has always been strange. Tenants either ignore it or they leave.
Fast.
You've lasted longer than most. Why is it here? No one knows. It belonged to my great-grandmother. Came from an old house in Essex that burned down. Some say it was salvaged from a seance room." Clara laughed bitterly. "You're kidding." "I wish I were." Day 20. The mirror no longer showed her reflection at all. Instead, it showed the apartment, but empty. Always empty. Even when she stood in front of it. Even when she screamed. She covered it with a cloth that night. But in her dreams, she saw it uncovered. And herself inside it. Clara didn't sleep the night the mirror stopped showing her reflection. She sat across from it, arms folded around her knees, a kitchen knife beside her. The covered mirror loomed in the dark, like a silent judge. Every creak in the old apartment felt louder. Her mind spun with thoughts, paranoia, logic, fear. What if she was hallucinating? What if the mirror wasn't just broken, but haunted? What if she was losing her grip on reality? The whispers hadn't stopped. If anything, they were growing bolder, now audible even during the day. Day 21. Clara called Marian again. This time, Marian brought someone else, Dr. Edgar Rowley, a paranormal researcher from the University of Kent. He looked eccentric, round spectacles, white beard, and a long tweed coat, but his presence felt grounding. After surveying the mirror for several minutes, he spoke quietly. "You said it shows the apartment, but never you. And sometimes, you feel like you're in the mirror instead?" Clara nodded, her voice low. "Sometimes I see myself watching me. Like, the mirror version of me is aware." Rowley muttered to himself, then pulled out a small mirror of his own. "Stand in front of mine," he said. Clara did. Her reflection appeared normally. "Now stand in front of the wall mirror." She uncovered it. The reflection returned, but it wasn't her. It looked like her. Same hair, same eyes. But the posture was different. The gaze, too sharp. The expression, slightly amused. The reflection raised its hand before she did. Rowley stepped back. Marian whispered, "It's mimicking her before she moves." Rowley made a note in his journal. "This isn't a reflection. This is an observer." The theory. Rowley believed the mirror was a psycho-spiritual conduit, an ancient object used during rituals to communicate with other realms of consciousness. "It's not haunted," he explained. "It's sentient. It learns. It watches. And over time, it creates a counterpart." Marian was stunned. "Like an alternate version of Clara?" "Worse," Rowley said. "It's not just mimicking her. It's replacing her. Slowly. If you keep interacting with the mirror, it will fully absorb your presence. You'll vanish. And the version in the mirror will walk free." Day 23. Clara started seeing her mirror self outside the mirror. In the reflection of her phone screen. In the subway window. Across the street at night. Staring back. Always smiling. Always still. Marian begged her to leave the apartment. But Clara couldn't. She was too deep now. She needed answers. She found them, partly, hidden behind a mirror. The hidden journal. Late that night, Clara removed the mirror from the wall completely. Behind it was a small wooden cubbyhole, sealed with an old rusted latch. Inside, wrapped in faded cloth, was a journal. It belonged to a woman named Eliza Fairchild, dated 1892. The entries were disturbing. "He watches me.
He smiles now.
The mirror no longer shows my world, it shows his. I try to smash it. It laughed. The ritual failed. I can no longer remember if I am the reflection or the real one. To whoever reads this, leave. Before it chooses you." Day 24. Clara made her decision. She would destroy the mirror. Rowley and Marian warned her that physical destruction might not work. If it has tied itself to your consciousness, smashing it could hurt you more than it. But Clara didn't care. She waited until 3 a.m., the hour when the whispers were loudest. She dragged the mirror into the small courtyard behind the building. Rain fell hard, wind howled, but Clara stood firm. She raised a hammer. The reflection was there, grinning, moving independently. She slammed the hammer down. The mirror cracked. The glass didn't shatter. It rippled like water. And from within, a hand reached out. It grabbed her wrist. The struggle. She fought. Screamed. The courtyard lights burst. Lightning flashed. The rain turned ice cold. The reflection tried to pull her in. But Clara didn't let go. Rowley appeared, shouting ancient Latin phrases. Marian screamed her name. With one final surge, Clara pulled herself away, and the mirror exploded in a flash of blinding light. When the dust cleared, she was unconscious. The mirror was gone. Only a scorched patch of earth remained. Day 30. Clara woke up in a hospital bed. She remembered almost nothing from that night. Marian sat beside her, eyes red from crying.
You're safe, she said.
It's over. But was it? The doctor said Clara had no physical injuries, only fatigue and memory fog. Rowley disappeared a day later. Left only a note. It won't come again. But be careful. Reflections are never truly silent. Epilogue. 2 months later, Clara had returned to New York. She was living quietly, rebuilding her life, writing again. One evening, she passed a shop window and glanced casually at her reflection. She froze. The reflection smiled. She didn't.